What if I told you there was an investor who I have put on the Mount Rushmore of investors, my opinion, just recorded his best profit month ever.
Yep.
I don't know about you, but I'd want to learn what the heck is he doing. We're going to get the honor of speaking with Mr. Jason Pritchard. Mr. Pritchard, six figures, multiple six-figure months.
Six figures. Yeah.
That is amazing. So why don't you kind of break it down for us? First, for the people who don't know who you are, tell us who is Jason Pritchard. What are you doing? And then we'll break down this amazing month.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for having me. I feel like it's been a little while since I've been on the channel, so it's good to connect again with the ORAC community. For those of the new followers and the new viewers here on your channel, my name is Jason Pritchard. I'm a real estate investor from Fresno, California, but we're investing basically up and down the state of California right now, but Fresno's our home base. We'll do 100 deals this year. We own a rental property just north of our rental portfolio, just north of 100 units. And we just booked our biggest, most profitable month ever, which is really cool, man. It's funny to say that lots of mixed emotions. I'm very grateful, obviously, because we put in a lot of work. It's very intentional. And I also,
you know what it is? This is your secret. I'm just going to tell people right now.
Yeah.
Is your consistency.
That was going to be one of the things we were going to talk about, dude. Very, very consistent. We show up every single day. Like you, work ethic is not my problem, dude. Like we can just put in the hours. Yeah. Putting in the work is not an issue for us, dude. And we just show up every day. We're very consistent. And, we're very fortunate too, man. And I know there's, lots of people that are not having the same type of experience. And, I think it's important to share this because there is a lot of negativity right now, but there are people that are sticking to the fundamental stuff. There is no secrets with what we're doing. We're going to talk about that today. And the results will come, dude, if you stay consistent. That's for sure.
Well, again, I want to remind people, right? The beauty of my channel and beauty of talking to you seemingly, not as frequently as I'd like, but a lot is you have a playlist on my channel just called Jason Pritchard. You can go back and watch content from 6, 9, 12 months ago where I was saying this is going to be a cleansing moment.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that got into flipping and wholesaling when it was easy, and they weren't really operators. They were kind of fly by night, get rich quick. Next thing they're going to do is Amazon drop shipping or, whatever.
Yeah.
And when you have a cleansing function, like's happened in the mortgage industry, like what's going on with national associations of realtors, all the dead wood goes away, but the deals are still there. But if you get rid of the denominator, the good people that stay get more deals, and you have record months.
Absolutely.
So that's the consistency I see.
It is. I spoke at an event last week and somebody asked me, they said, well, what are you looking forward to? And my answer was, I'm looking forward to it getting harder because I know when things get more difficult, everything that you just said right now, it just weeds out all of these phony operators, dude, like you said, man. And the cream will always rise to the top. And I don't know if I'm crazy or whatever, but like my mind just shifts gears when I know that it gets harder. I dig in more. And I just get more serious about doing it. And those two things together work very well, especially in a market like this.
So, again, having done this, for 20 plus years, this is what's happening in the space that you play. The people that you are marketing to are probably getting 50%, 60% less mailers.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting less text. They're getting less this, less that, but the deals are still there. Also, what is happening right now is I believe we're in a buyer's market. Yep. It'll be interesting to see if you agree or disagree with this. I believe about a month ago, maybe 8 weeks ago, I came out of nowhere and said, guys, wake up. We're in a buyer's market. The average home buyer is nervous, scared, pissed off, whatever. They are not going to get involved with their largest purchase because of rates, because of a presidential election, because of recession fears, whatever. So they're out until the next spring selling season. This is one of the reasons why the Fed cut rates, because the consumer's like, I'm out. But again, this means you can write more aggressive offers. Means you can make more money, because when do you make your money in your business? When you buy, not when you sell. So is that what you're seeing?
Let me give you a real world example of a deal that we signed this week that, like, amplifies and talks about everything that you just talked about right now. So we had a seller that we've been working with for a while. They have a tenant occupied property. We were 10 grand apart on this deal. It was a deal for us at 165. Seller would not budge off 175. And we basically just said, hey, we're going to pass on the deal. It's not a deal for us. We ended up calling back and just trying to do more of a customer service type call, just saying, hey, it sounds like, you decided to go another route. I'm sorry we weren't able to work together. We just want to know how our team did. And the guy was like, well, no, wait, the deal's not done yet. And we ended up signing it that day for the number that we needed it at, guys. And that is a perfect example of what you're talking about right now, Zuber. That seller a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, they probably get the price run up 10,000, 20,000, even over what they were asking. And it takes some time for the sellers a lot of times to feel some of this pain that we're doing. They're usually the last ones, even though we as the real estate professionals see it and we can anticipate it, we have to have some patience and let that trickle all the way down to the seller. And now that they're seeing it, there are going to be more opportunities. And that was literally last week. We signed 3 contracts last week, and it was all deals that we had been working for a long time.
It's funny. I had a conversation with Omar and Adrian, both, basically you down in Southern California.
Yeah,
I think you know those guys.
Yep.
Yeah. And I told Omar, I said, Omar, it's time to get aggressive.
Yep.
Right. You should be building inventory below the median. And, if your model says you can pay 310, you should start writing him at 285 or 290 because there's less of you. And if you could build into February, March, April, spring selling season, why not bank an extra 15K in profit? Because I think a lot of investors that are still playing like you don't realize the buyers are gone.
Yep.
Right. Your competition is gone. So what does that mean for you? It means lower offers, not crazy lower, but hey, an extra 10 grand here, 15 grand there. It doesn't suck.
It's kind of a perfect storm with all the stuff that's happening right now. The election, we're going typically into the slower time of the year, what's traditionally a slow season for us in the real estate, November, December, January, right?
Yeah.
We always end up doing more deals because people, not only because of all the stuff that's causing the distractions with the election and things like that, people just start to take their foot off the gas, guys, right? And so people just get lazy. It's Thanksgiving, it's Christmas, they're hanging out, they're blah, blah, blah. And you right now have an opportunity to make this last quarter of 2024 a very, very productive quarter that's going to give you the momentum that you need to start the year off in 2025. Anything that you buy right now, guys, is probably going to it's probably going, that revenue, you're not going to realize it until the first part of 2025. So right now is the time to really front load the new year. And you and I talk about momentum and how important momentum is. Right now, you're going to build all your momentum for the beginning of the year. So right now is where we have to really get serious, really get focused. Not only are all the people getting weeded out, but people get lazy. All the real estate professionals inherently are typically really lazy. You know what I mean? They get fat, they get happy. And the people that were making their good money in the summer, right now, they're going to take their foot off the gas, and there's going to be lots of opportunity for us.
Yeah. Something else I wanted to talk to you about, because you get to see it from multiple unique angles, is this Nar settlement, right?
Yep.
Nar settlement's now in place. You obviously feel it from a brokerage agent level, but you also feel it from a buyer seller angle. I'm going to go to sellers first. Are they talking about it? Are they asking about commissions? What are the owners of assets that you go talk to? Do they even bring it up? What's going from the home seller perspective?
We typically are presenting a cash offer first, right? So a lot of the sellers that we're working with, obviously we'll give them all the different options at their disposal, but because our marketing is geared towards sellers that are typically going to lean towards a cash offer, we don't see lots of people right now even talking about it because it's not really the profile of the sellers that we speak with in our core business, right?
Makes sense.
What we're experiencing on the flip side of that, like I'll share my experience as a seller because I'm a very big seller here, right? Because everything that we buy, we sell, right? And so we've made the decision to test. We've always paid 2.5% for a buyer's agent compensation. That's always been my standard. That's what we pay. And right now we did the math, the beginning part of 2024, when we knew that, that August, everything was going to change, right? We ran the numbers, I think through June or July, and just going from a 2.5% to a 2% buyer's agent compensation would have saved us like $70,000 for the year, just a
No,
0.5%.
sounds like real money to
So
me.
it is, man. And I'm going to be very honest. And I've been a licensed agent since 2018. And there are some really, really great agents that bring lots of value to a transaction. And they're the key piece of getting that transaction across the finish line. And there's a lot of agents that basically, in my experience, have been dead weight or make the transaction like just miserable because they're
Harder.
not
Yeah.
carried, right?
They make it harder.
Right?
Yeah.
And when you, as the investor, are looking at your P&L, commissions are typically one of the biggest line items on your P&L 100% of the time, behind your rehab costs and maybe your holding costs. Commissions are right there. So it's a big expense. So for us, I did the math and I was like, dude, if I just ratchet it down from 2.5% to 2%, that's going to save me $70,000. You know what I'm saying? And so,
and where does that $70,000 fall,
all
Jason?
goes into marketing. That's all goes into marketing for me. So we take all of that money, we reinvest it into marketing. Going back to your point of the beginning, just staying consistent. We've never, ever deviated from our marketing plan. If anything, we've gotten better. We've managed our numbers better. We've learned how to make our marketing more effective. And we've made all those tweaks and made it very efficient. And now that we're as efficient as we've ever been from a marketing standpoint, imagine what happens when we take 70,000 additional dollars, right? We're spending $30,000 to $35,000 a month just on marketing and advertising, right? So that's basically an extra 2 months worth of marketing and advertising. So if that gives me a 5x ROI, you do the math on what an extra $70,000 is. That's the additional, that should work out to additional revenue for me and additional profits. So that's where we're really seeing it right now. And we're not getting any, frankly, when we typically, all the offers that we get on our flips that are listed, the buyer's agent will ask for 2.5%. And we just counter back and say, hey, we're going to do it at 2. And I'm not saying it's going to be a hard and fast, like just a rigid rule. If there's an agent that we know, let's say this project has been sitting for a while, we trust this agent, we know them, they're asking for, I'm going to give them a full commission, right? So I think it's a case by case, but that's real money for you guys. And we're not seeing any real pushback either. And so I think that's a good way to book a little additional profit.
Yeah. One of the things that when I think about the Nar settlement, and I hope this gets better in a year or two, is I think the person that's probably most hurt by the Nar settlement is the first-time home buyer who's never bought a home before.
Oh, 100%, dude. 100%.
They don't understand.
They don't understand. Not only do I feel like there's lots to unpack there. They don't understand. So let's unpack that. So I think when you're brand new, never bought a home, you're young, you don't have all this financial literacy, this is your first rodeo, okay? Every single agent, buyer's agent, is going to make you sign some type of compensation agreement. And I feel like if that, like the delivery of what you're actually signing, you don't know what you're signing as a first-time home buyer, you're going to be in a world of hurt if you end up falling in love with a house. You've agreed to pay your buyer's compensation X, but the seller is only willing to pay Y. Now there's a gap. We both know that most first-time home buyers are not sitting on a ton of cash. They're using most of it for their down payment. Everything else is just to get them in the house, like their furniture and their TVs and the stuff that they need. They're not ready to write a check for 3, 4, 5, 10 grand to a buyer's agent to do that. And so I think that is going to be a thing that we need to keep an eye out for, man, because I feel
one
like,
of my big fears, it's even worse than that. All of that is true. But when I look at this in real life, being that first-time buyer, think about a first-time buyer who's shopping for homes and they bump into 3 or 4 agents along the way. That means they're signing 3 or 4 purchase agreements. Now, these purchase agreements could be wildly different. It could be house specific. It could be time specific. I could envision a way where through, I don't know, I'll call it mistakes, you've signed 3 buyer's commissions and now you owe 3 commissions when a house is I mean, in theory, that could happen, right?
Yep. 100% it could happen. And it goes back to, look, there's lots of bad actors in the investor space. And it's the same with the agents. And it could be just an inexperienced new buyer, because lots of buyers agents, typically those are newer. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
That's
Like
where you cut your teeth.
seasoned agents. Yeah, exactly. So seasoned agents are typically listing agents, right? They don't want to go out and ideally show 50 million houses to a buyer and then have them not do it. So you're really working a lot of times with the newer agent, and that new agent, frankly, just may or may not know the message that they're doing. They may not know how to deliver that message in the right way. And they may not tell that buyer that, hey, this is a legal binding agreement that you're signing. And depending on their broker, their broker may make them enforce that legally, right? And so then you end up in,
Could
I
happen.
could see all kinds of crazy scenarios coming up, man, because it's just like, yep, sign, here we go, we'll get you in a house. And if that doesn't work out and they end up going directly to the listing agent, or they find another buyer's agent, now you've got all kinds of big can of worms that just got opened up. So you got to be careful.
Yeah, it's going to be messy. Well, let's go back to your record-breaking month. What was the number?
229,000 in profit. So we were just over 300K in revenue against $68,000 in expenses. Total expenses is what we're running right now, is just under 70 grand.
So $229,000 in profit. That means you sold like one house, right?
No, we did lots of stuff this month. We did, I think, 5 or 6 flips and about as many wholesale deals too. So we had our pipeline lined up where we closed a high volume of deals. So we're typically closing about 6 or 7 deals a month, and we doubled that. And we had a combination of like some really good things happen. We had our biggest wholesale deal ever that we closed for $85,000. We had some very profitable flips close. Wholetailing is the exit strategy that's been working the best for us this year. We had a few of those close. And so it's just one of those months, man, where all the stars aligned and everything lined up. And, when you work your ass off all the time, sometimes you get a little bit of luck along with, good things that happen to you, man. So it was a combination of all of that.
Well, something we broke down, I want to say it was a year ago. It might've been a year and a half ago. You really made a big pivot in the business to get away from flips.
Yep.
I think you were at one point sort of 90-10, right? Wholesale, hotel, 10% flips. You were kind of, it was January of what, 23? 22.
No, excuse me, 23. You're right.
Yeah, it was 23, right?
Yep.
Because it was painful. You lost 6 figures, as I recall, that month, or maybe the month before. Just coming off a loss.
Yep. Yeah.
So if you were 90-10 then, it sounds like you're not 90-10 anymore.
It's almost a third, a third, and a third. It's almost an even distribution across all exit strategies. And it's been, I swear, dude, it's been one of the best business decisions that we've ever made. And so
you're flipping more. That's the big change.
No, well, we're flipping less. We were flipping 90% of the houses we were flipping back then.
Oh, got it.
So 90% of the deals going into the beginning of 2023 were flipping, and it made sense for us to flip because 2020 to end of 2022, or maybe the middle of 2022, we could sit on a house,
do
nothing really, and it's going to go $10,000 or $20,000, $30,000 more than what we projected for it to sell. So for the people that are asking why, right? The cash conversion cycle on a flip, meaning from the day that you close it to the day that revenue comes back, is always going to be the longest. For us, it averages about 5 months right now, right? With wholesale, there's 0 cash conversion cycle because you don't have any money out and you're closing it. That's typically the fastest. Wholesale for us is about 30 days, meaning we put $1 out and in 30 days we get $1 back in. And then flip typically takes the longest. When all of your projects are 4, 5, 6, sometimes longer months to come back in, and we're dealing with a market that's going like this because interest rates shot up, right? You're just going to end up holding the bag on a lot of these things, which is what we were doing, dude. So we made a conscious decision to just pause on the flipping and do things that had faster cash conversion cycles. We've talked about it too. Jen and I sat down and made a decision because, we have always been good when it comes to managing our financials and having cash and doing that stuff. But knowing that we were going to take that hit, Jen and I had to sit down and just say, hey, we need to sell like 4 or 5 of our rental properties just to make sure 100% that we're okay. Because I didn't have a crystal ball back then, and I didn't know what was going on, dude. So it was like, let's just look at some of these high equity properties that we know that we don't want, that have problem tenants, that are just always been issues, and let's liquidate some of those. So we ended up bringing in, like, I'd say almost 500,000 in just additional cash just from selling those. But that took 6 or 7 months to get rid of everything, because we had tenants and we had all these other things, right? And so in order to give us the runway that we needed to get to this cash from the rentals, we had to pivot our exit strategy and just bring cash in very quickly to offset those losses and then just put us in a better cash position. And all of those things combined together gave us a big boost of momentum. And that, we talked about momentum at the beginning of this call, man. It's like, once we got those first few deals closing, right, and we got some cash back in, right, then that first rental sold, we got some more cash, then the second one sold, then we did some more, and then it was like bam, 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 and then we were off to the races and we're going. And we've just been sticking with that exit strategy, and it's worked very well. So outside of just being consistent in all aspects and areas of our business, we've never been afraid to adapt either. And
yeah, agreed.
like, we talk about this a lot, dude. Like, the stuff that worked when I first started in 2014, 2015, that stuff doesn't work anymore, guys. And your exit strategies, you have to have fluidity. And I always go back to my corporate experience and the goalposts always being changed with our compensation model. And so it's like, they'd always change. I just got used to things changing, and I took that mindset and applied it towards this business. And I said, hey, we made money like this a year or two ago, doesn't mean like we're going to make money like this now. And we have to be open to some different stuff. And it's helped, it's paid off.
I love that. I love that. I guess the other thing we talked about back in January of 2023 is you were starting to focus below the median.
Yeah.
Are you still focused below the median, or have you got a little more comfortable with stuff above the median?
No, we're not. I mean, I'm trying to think of the only things that we're doing above the median are some of these larger development plays that we're doing. And that's been a big vision of mine too. I mean, we're 10 years into this now. I mean, we're almost approaching 10 years for me. We have our business and our team from an operational, a financial, and acquisition standpoint more dialed in than it's ever been. And so I have the confidence right now to let the team kind of run the core business. I'm not fully out of it, right? It's not like I'm some absentee owner. I still have to lead, and I still have to build culture, and I still have to do a lot of that stuff. But the nuts and bolts and the day-to-day, the team really runs. So I have lots of excess time now to focus on doing some of these larger deals. Now, those types of deals, because the margins are so much bigger, I can work and partner with proven operators that have a big track record of experience. So for me, I'm bringing the things that I'm good at: the deal, the money to do the deal, or some combination of those things. And then we work with somebody that has a big track record, and we're just doing no-brainer opportunities. And we're only doing a handful of them, right? So those things have to be like stupid deals, dude, not like okay deals. They have to like look and pencil like a grand slam deal. And worst case scenario, it's a home run, right? It can't be a base hit, and then worst case scenario, we lose money. So I think for me, we're working on making the core business run and operate at its highest and best. And then Jason can focus on dabbling in some of these bigger things that have multiple 6 figures or maybe even a 7-figure exit, but those take much longer runways to do, man. So very exciting, man. Exciting times, dude. Lots of really cool stuff going on.
And then one of the things that you are doing is you have gotten very good at creating a community and students. I was at your event last weekend or the weekend before. It was amazing to see all those like-minded individuals. If somebody wanted to know more about the community you're building, where do we send them?
Best place to go is my website, guys, jasonpritchard.com. Any possible way that you can work with me, from a coaching community, from an agent standpoint, if you want to lend, if you want to partner on a deal, all the information's on there. And then if you want to connect and follow me, social media is probably the best place. Instagram and Facebook is where I'm most active. We share everything, man, all the ups and downs, the ins and outs, the good, the bad, to try to just help people as we can.
Yeah. Jason Pritchard. Don't forget to follow his lovely wife as well, Jen Pritchard. She is an amazing individual as well. Superpower of Jason is his wife, Jen. Take care, bud. Thanks again.